Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is hand out a worksheet for you guys. And this is using your math skills. But the point of it is for you guys to learn a little bit about me. Okay? So there's some math problems on here for you guys to work on. And then we will see what you come up with. And see what you know about me after this. Then, so let's see. What can you guys tell me about myself?
You were born. Your oldest child is 6?
Yes, he is. He is 6 years old, and he is over here at Glen Duffy in first grade. His name is Cash, with a K, because K's are off. Yes, I will. I'm going to graduate in December of 2015. So what I'm doing with you guys right now is called my Internship 1. I'm here with you guys for 40 hours. I get to watch you and talk and learn how you guys do things in your classroom, and now I get to teach you a little bit. And next fall, around this time, I will be in a classroom all day, every day. And when I'm done there, I will graduate. I do have students. I am getting married in 2 days, which I'm really excited about. Mrs. Chalk calls me Mrs. May. I'm technically not Mrs. May yet, but I will be on Saturday. But my, yeah. Thank you. My new last name is much easier than my last name right now, so that's why we went ahead and had you call me.
Wait, what's your last name right now?
My last name right now is Kerner. I'm going to write it for you.
Okay, let's see why.
May is much easier than that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, what else you got?
How old was your oldest child?
He's 6. He's in first grade. How about my youngest? You have my youngest on there?
4.
He is 4.
Wait, where's your oldest?
It's down at the bottom by what year
Bottom left corner.
Yes, my youngest is 4. He's also over here at Glen Duffy in pre-K. And his name is Ethan. Oh, yeah?
Yeah?
Well,
I think my brother is Ethan.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
That doesn't sound familiar. In pre-K.
I was gonna have 25.
Oh, okay. Yes, sir. What you got? I have lived here for 2 months. Yes. I know I didn't put months on there. I've only been here for 2 months. I moved here a week before school started. And it was really, really stressful for me because I had no idea where my boys were going to go to school. And luckily, Grab It was super nice, and they worked with me, and they let me go ahead and enroll them here. And for 2 weeks when school started, I drove 45 minutes every morning to bring them to school. I was on the road for 3 hours every day. So I was very happy to finally get to move here. I am 32. I do have 5 cats. I have 3 cats, which is funny because my fiance, who will be my husband on Saturday, he doesn't want cats at all. I do have 2 dogs. I have one great big huge dog who's almost 100 pounds. His name is Elliot. He is part lab and part hound. Bloodhound. My other dog, his name is Bandit, and he is a red heeler. Yeah. And then I just have 3 cats. 3 cats.
Do you have one sister?
If it does now, I'm kind of happy.
You kind of have.
Yeah, because I have one chicken.
I have one sister. She's 5 years older than me. Her name is Melissa.
You're 32.
I was born in 1982. What
What
else do we have? Oh, we haven't done how many letters are in my first name. Good job. All right. So you'll see, remember when I said Cash? It starts with K because K is pretty cool. Okay. I'll show you why. My first name is Kirsten. See how awesome K is? KK. Yeah.
Ours
Ours are good too. All right, have we missed anything? Have we gone over them all?
Yeah.
Lived in Gravis.
No, graduate. What
Oh,
year?
2015, remember? December.
When were you born?
I was born in
1982.
82. There you go. Good job. My oldest son is 6. 6 will go into that 36 6 times. And you guys have been talking about division, right?
Yeah.
A little bit? Okay. So you guys know that like division and multiplication are best friends?
See?
Yes, you have. I believe you guys were doing a problem earlier and Mrs. Chalk showed you. No. It kind of does. I think Mrs. Chalk showed you. Let's look at that one right here. I know it's yellow, kind of hard to see. No. So here, 36 divided by 6. What is that? 6. Okay. So when you go back.
Did you put the eraser down?
Thank you. All right. So when you go back, now you're doing 6 times 6, and it is 36. So it's like you're going backwards, right?
Yeah.
So
I kind of like it a different way. Yeah, like I had 6 plus 6. Then it kind of equals 12, then add that, and 32. Then I kind of add another one until one add it and get 36.
Okay, so do you guys know enough about me?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
No, I need to. If you didn't have a kid, you should name him Connor with a K.
Connor with K. That's good.
But one more thing. What's your sister's name?
My sister's name is Melissa.
How old is
What's your favorite subject? Like, no, not. What's your favorite?
I have no other name. It looks like.
Let's see. I think adding would be my favorite.
Add and multiply is my favorite.
Okay, so we are done with that. Thank you, girls. Now I am going to read you a story. So what I need you guys to do, I need you to get your whiteboards and your markers. It's a good name. I like it. All right. Do we have our whiteboards? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and start talking about it while the rest of you are getting your markers out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read you this book. It's called Bean 13. A lot of you have read it. It's about division. We're going to have some bugs in here working on division problems. So what I'd like you to do is listen to me read the story, but while you're listening, if you hear a math problem, I want you to write it down. So if you hear any kind of math problem in this book, I want you to go ahead and write it down. And after we read the book, keep it to yourself, and after we read the book, we're going to talk about what kind of math problems you think you heard in the book, okay? Everybody got that? Thumbs up, you got it?
Got it.
Got most thumbs up. Okay. All right. Okay, this is Bean 13 by Matthew McElligott. Ooh. It was a warm summer night. Ralph and Flora were picking beans for dinner. How many do we have? Asked Flora. Looks like 12, said Ralph. I'll pick one more, said Flora. Don't do it, shouted Ralph. Why on earth not? Asked Flora. 13 is an unlucky number, said Ralph. Everybody knows that. You're being silly, said Flora. I am not, said Ralph. You are too, said Flora. I am not, said Ralph. Are too, said Flora. I am not, said Ralph. At home, Ralph and Flora spread the beans out on the table, and they made 2 piles, one for each of them. Each pile had 6 beans. Oh, look, said Flora. There's one left over. You take it, Ralph. Bean 13? Gasped Ralph. Never. It's bad luck. Ralph, said Flora, please don't make a fuss. I'm not eating it, said Ralph. And you can't make me. I have an idea, said Flora. I'm not eating it, said Ralph. Flora called their friend April. April, would you like to come over for dinner? We're having beans. I don't understand, said Ralph. We're only going to feed April one bean? Of course not, said Flora. We'll make 3 piles. Ralph and Flora separated the beans into 3 piles. Each pile had 4 beans. There was 1 bean left over. Bean 13, said Ralph. I told you. That is odd, said Flora. Let's invite Joe, too. And make 4 piles, added Ralph. So it's fair. There's 4 piles. Ralph, Flora, April, Joe. But when they made their 4 piles, there was still 1 bean left over. I don't understand, said Flora. I do, said Ralph. Bean 13 is trouble. It's just a bean, said Flora. I'll call Meg. We'll make 5 piles. This better work, said Ralph, as they separated the beans into 5 piles. Each pile had 2 beans. This time there were 3 beans left over. It's getting worse, gasped Ralph. Don't panic, said Flora. I'm calling Rocco. He eats everything. But something still wasn't right. Why does Rocco get 3 beans? Complained Ralph. That's more than everybody else. Well, we could give him 2, said Flora. But what? Said Ralph. Never mind, said Flora. Tell me, said Ralph. But what? It's just that we still have an extra bean, said Flora. I'm really not sure why. Lousy bean 13, cried Ralph. I can't stand it. Ding dong, went the doorbell. Our guests are here, shouted Ralph. What are we going to do? He jumped to his feet. He bumped the table, and the beans went everywhere. Oh, Ralph, said Flora. What a mess. Sorry, said Ralph. Here, said Flora. Take this bowl and gather up the beans. I'll get the door. Hello, everyone, said Flora. I'm so happy you could come. There are fresh beans in a bowl on the table, said Flora. Please help yourselves. The bugs sat down to eat. Does everyone have enough? It's perfect. You bet. Just right. Absolutely. Me too. How strange. Can y'all see what's happening? This one has 2. This one has 1. This one has 3. 2, 3. But it's not even, is it? Dinner was great fun, but at last it was time for the bugs to go home. You have to admit, said Flora, that worked out perfectly. It did, said Ralph. But I'm confused. What happened to bean 13? Flora shrugged. Someone ate it. But who? Asked Ralph. We'll never know, said Flora. Maybe April. Maybe Rocco. Maybe me. Maybe even you. All right. So what math did you find in that book? You didn't hear any?
You did 6 to 2.
All right, hold on. You got 6 plus 6 equals 12 plus 1 is 13. That was the very... Did you guys hear what he's saying? His math problem was 6 plus 6 equals 12. And then plus 1 equals 13. And that's right. That's the very first problem they did. They had 13 beans. And what did they do? They divided it by 5. 13, okay. They divided it into 2 groups. How many were in their groups? 6. So 6 plus 6. And then how many did they have left over? 1. So they had 6 plus 6 is 12. And then they had that little bean up there left over. Do you guys remember what that's called when you talked about that when you do a division problem? It was bean 13. There you go. Remainder 1. Good job. All right. Let's see. Which ones do you have here?
2 times 4 equals 8, and then times 1 because being 13, and that still equals 8, and then 4.
Okay, so they did the 3 groups of 4, right? 1, 2, 3 groups. And how many beans are in each group? 4. How many beans did they have left over? 1. So 13 divided by 3 is 4. Remember, we have 3 groups here, so we took 12 and we divided it up 3 times. And how many beans were in each group? 4. 4 times 3 is 12, so there's your multiplication. You're going backwards. But then you still have the remainder
1. Being 13.
being 13, remainder 1. Okay, let's see. Got that one. Do you have any different ones?
Let's get a bunch of different.
One at the end, what did you see? Oh yeah, the one at the very, very end. Let's see. They had 2 beans, plus 1 bean, plus 2 beans, plus 3 beans, plus 3 beans, plus 2 beans, and that was 13 beans. Got bean 13. So that's another way. But remember we pointed out that that's not even. So was that fair to all the bugs? Some of them got 3 and some of them only got 1? No? But that was definitely a math problem in the book. Let's see, did anybody write down, how about this one right here? Who said that? There you go, yes ma'am. How many groups of 2 did she have?
It could just go back out and do another one.
So they were able to take 13 and divide it between 6 friends, and everybody got 2 beans. And then how many did they have left over? 1. They still have that 1 bean left over. Good job. So what do you guys think they should do with that 1 bean left over?
Go pick another one. Yeah, just go pick 1 more.
Okay, if it were just the 2 of them, you're right. That would work.
Or split it.
Yeah, they could cut it in half. That's a great idea. If it were the 2 of them, they could each have 6½. That they could do that.
Or could just have an extra one to throw, and they have a bed.
Do you think they could ignore it? Just put it away and maybe save it for tomorrow?
Yeah.
That's an idea. So we've had some really good ideas. We can ignore it, put it away, and everybody has even number. We can cut it in half, and everybody has exactly the same amount. That's a good idea. We could go pick more. That way everybody has the same amount. That's a good idea. Okay, so let's say they did have 15 beans, and the 2 of them. Could they divide 15 beans between the 2 of them evenly? How many would they get?
Wait, no, 20.
20. You're right. And then 10. So they could pick more and they could make it even, right? Okay. Any other math problems that we missed? Yes, ma'am? Mm-hmm. Yes, we had that up. Noah had that up here. 6 plus 6 is 12. 6 times 2. Mm-hmm. They had 2 groups of 6 with that.
13 divided by 5, 13 divided by 4, and 13 divided by 2.
Mm-hmm. Very good. So you guys saw all the math in that book, right? And you saw the problem. They had that 1 bean left over, and they just could not get rid of it. They did not know what to do with it, right? Okay. How many of you guys are in class today? I think there's 23 of you, right?
Yeah. No, 24.
Actually, with Dylan in the room, it is 24 right
It is 24 right now. Okay.
now. He's here for about 15
Well,
minutes.
here's what I need you guys to help me do. We're going to break up into groups. But the problem I see is there's 24 of us, right? And we need to break into 5 groups. Can we make 5 even groups out of 24?
We can make 6 in each. Miss Chalk makes no. It's so good.
Wait,
Maybe
yeah,
we
yeah.
can.
Chalk makes 5.
Wait,
Oh,
we
this
can
is
make
great.
5.
You make 2 versus 4 5.
Miss Chalk makes 25.
She does, but Miss Chalk knows how to divide. So I think we need to just work with you guys. I know how to divide too. All right, so we have 24, and we need to break up into 5 groups. So how many times can 5 go into 24? Anybody know? Remember your multiplication? It would be
4.
What times 5?
4.
4.
All
right. Good job. All right, so 5 times 4 is what?
20.
20. But then we need that extra.
Wait, what?
So, would it be fair if 4 of you just didn't do the group work? No?
I'm doing long division.
Okay. All right, good job. So if I made 4 groups of 5, and you guys took your jelly beans and went off in your separate corners, would it be fair if these 4 people right here just didn't get to do it? So what do you think we should do? That's a good idea. You could do that. Can we just? But we know we can't ignore them, right?
4, 6 a group.
Okay. So what you were saying is that we could round up. Is that right? Make 6 groups.
6 groups of 4. 8.
4 groups of 6. Okay.
6 times 8.
Okay. Those are all wonderful ideas.
I don't know. Like 2 12 is 24.
That's a good idea. Okay, you guys have some excellent ideas, and I'm very glad that you see that we cannot ignore 4 of you. So here's what we're going to do. I only brought 5 things of jelly beans, so we have to make 5 groups. So we're going to go ahead and break up into 5 groups of 4, and these extra 4 of you, we're going to just divide between groups. So there's actually going to be 4 groups of 6 and 1 group of 5. That's what we're going to do, okay? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go around the room and I'm going to tell you a number. And you can hold up your finger and remember your number. Can you do that?
Yes.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, can I have all the number 1s over here? Bring your whiteboard. Take your whiteboard marker. Angela, you number 1? All right, can you guys just make yourself a little circle right here?
Over there. Take your marker.
Now can I have all the number 2s?
No, all the numbers are not.
Try to smell it from here.
Missing a 2 somewhere. Okay, how about a 3 back in the back there? All the 3s. Okay, and all the 4s over by this side. Alright, and all my 5s right here in the middle. I'm going to step through you guys real quick, sorry. Okay, is everybody listening? Okay, I'm going to give each group a box of jelly beans, and there's a number written on the top. She'll tell you how many jelly beans you have. There should be, in this one, 36. I counted these at midnight, so you might want to count and make sure it's correct, okay? And then I'm going to give you, this is an egg carton, but what this is going to help you do is, what you're going to try to do is find as many ways you can divide these 36 jelly beans into groups. And you're trying to divide them evenly. What is the best way to divide them evenly, okay? So on your whiteboard, I'm going to bring you your beans in just a second. On your whiteboard, write any math problems that you guys come up with. And then we're going to go back there and talk to him. All right. You guys can have 36. You guys get 32. 32. You guys can have 20. Here's 25 for you guys. And y'all get 30.
Dylan.
So, the point of doing all this, are y'all listening now?
Yeah.
Guys, all right. The reason we've done all this is to show you that there are all kinds of ways to divide numbers, right?
Yes.
And we also, a lot of times, we looked back and we did our multiplication. We went backwards and saw all the different ways that we could do it. But then a lot of times we had remainders left over, didn't we? We had beans left over. So I kind of came around to the groups. And what did we decide we could do with those beans? Sometimes we can cut them in half.
We're giving them to your parents?
What if we only have 2 beans and 5 people, though? Can we cut up 2 beans evenly for 5 people?
No.
That would be really hard. That would be really hard. So the best thing to do is if you don't have enough beans, just put them away. We'll ignore them, pretend they're not there. Or give them to your mom and let your mom eat them. But what if you have 2 beans and 4 people?
Split them in half.
You can split them in half. That would be pretty easy to do, right? You could take 2 beans and make them into 4. Okay. I think we get the point. Do you think so?
Yeah.
Okay. Come on back to your seats. We got one more thing to look at. Okay. So what I'm going to introduce to you, what we've already kind of talked about a little bit, and I know you talked about it in class, is interpreting the remainders. That means we have to decide what we're going to do with those leftover numbers, okay? And there's really about 3 things, 3 steps that you can ask yourself what to do with those leftovers. Okay, first thing we can do is we can ignore it. That's what we talked a lot about with these jelly beans, huh? So here's another jelly bean problem. I have 23 jelly beans, and I want to make groups of 5. How many people can I share that with? 4. Whoop. Yes, you're right, 4. Let me go back to the computer, sorry. Right. Never done a present on it. There we go. Okay, so we made 4 groups of 5, and how many did we have left over?
3.
See those little beans down there in the bottom? We had 3 left over, you're right. Can I divide those up?
But 4 times 6 you can.
There's like a video.
Here, let me see if I can do it. Yeah.
So it's 25. Is that like a video?
It's called a Prezi. Have y'all ever seen a Prezi?
Allow?
Yeah.
Okay, I hit cancel and that's what
Okay. Okay, so we can't divide those 3 beans up evenly, right? And we want to be fair to all of our friends. We don't want to make somebody feel bad that they only got 5 and somebody else got 6, right? So what should we do with those 3 beans?
Ignore
Ignore it.
Or
You're
give
right.
them to your eat them.
Give them to your mom and dad. You're right. All right, next one. Use it. Okay, let's think about this one. A bakery has 10 cupcakes left over at the end of the day. They can fit 6 into one of their boxes to sell tomorrow, but then they decide that they're just going to give the rest away. So how many cupcakes will they give away?
4.
Good job. I don't know if I can write on this. I cannot. So that's what, you got your 10 cupcakes here. They're going to put 6 of them in a box. And how many do you have left over?
4.
4. I want to be the one that gets those cupcakes, I think.
I know that made it smaller, now you should be able to.
Okay, okay. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all in a box. 4 left over. So my hint to you there.
Okay, let me do like the ink.
Note to self, prezzies are not good on smartboard. So the hint there, sometimes the remainder is the answer to your question. So sometimes that remainder is really, really important, and we have to be sure and write it down because that is answering our word problem, right? Did you see how that was the answer on that?
I don't get it.
Just a way to present.
It's just a way to, like a PowerPoint. You've all ever seen a PowerPoint presentation? Yeah. It's like that. It's just on the internet and jumps around, looks a little bit fancier. That's all it is.
Is it like a video?
No, it's not a video. Okay, the last way is we are going to round it up. So my example here is Mrs. Chalk's class. You guys are going to go on a field trip to the county fair. We're pretending. You're not really going. You're pretending. In the word problem, you're going to go to the county fair. 11 of you decide that you want to ride the Ferris wheel together. 2 of you can fit in a car, the little buggies, at a time. How many cars do y'all need to have available on the Ferris wheel for all of you to go together?
You still have 1.
Okay, so if we only have 5 cars and 2 people in all those cars, how many people can ride?
6.
What's 2 times 5?
10.
So you still have that one person to make 11 who doesn't get to ride?
No, you just need 6 cars.
You need to round it up to 6 cars because it wouldn't be fair if we only had the 5 cars and only 10 people could ride. You still have that one person that gets left all by themselves down the bottom.
There's way more than 5 cars.
I know. But what if it's full? Like what if there's a bunch of other people on it?
Like, what if there's like 6?
Might be. So that's an instance where we need to round it up, right? Because we can't leave anybody out. Everybody get that? Okay, so I'm going to give you some examples now, and I want you guys to tell me which one you think you should do. All right, Jimmy baked 18 cupcakes, and he plans to share them with 4 friends. If y'all need to use your whiteboard to write a problem down, that's fine. Jimmy will then keep the rest for himself. How many cupcakes will Jimmy have left after he shares the cupcakes? So how many does he get to keep for himself? We're trying to take 18 and divide it between 4 friends.
I don't think that's possible.
Okay, well how many would be the remainder? How many would he have left over after sharing evenly with 4 friends?
He'd have 2. 2 more.
2 more?
And he gets something.
Okay, if he's got 4 friends and we want to give them, can't see that color. See that color? There we go. All right, here's his 4 friends. They look like squares, huh? And we're going to try to divide 18. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the exact same thing we were doing with the jelly beans. We're just equally dividing. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
Wait, how many?
13, 14, 15, 16. So we're at 16. How many do we have left? 2. Can I take those 2 and divide them evenly between my 4 friends?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
You could cut them in half, but Jimmy really wants to eat some cupcakes. So how many would Jimmy get to eat?
2.
If he cut them in half, he would get 0. But if we want to, what is the word? Use it. Thank you. If we want to use it, remember the hint I gave you? That means your remainder is your answer. And the question is, how many cupcakes will Jimmy have left?
2.
The answer would be 2, right? He's got these 2 left over here that he cannot evenly divide between his friends. You could cut them in half. You're right. You got me there. Does everybody agree on that?
Yeah.
Does anybody not understand why that's the answer? Everybody understand?
Everybody in our hands.
Both sides? Okay, how do I make it go away now? That one? Thank you guys.
Close the ink layer.
Can you guys tell I've never used a smart board before?
Yes.
Okay. Well, this is what it's for. I get to learn with you guys. All right, here's our next one. Mrs. Chalk needs 75 markers for her students to complete a project. There are 9 markers in each box. How many boxes is she going to need? What rule would we use? Ignore it? You think so? Anybody else have any other ideas? Round it up.
And save it.
Well, if she needs 75 markers, and let's say, who knows her multiplication tables? If she went, how many boxes? Let's say she got 8 boxes. How many would she have then?
8.
If she had 8 boxes and there's 9 in a box, what's 8 times 9?
72.
Okay, so that's pretty close, right? But she's still missing how many markers? She needs 75. 3. So here's another time. Would it be very fair if one of you guys just didn't get as many markers, as many colors to choose from as the other people? It wouldn't be very fair, would it? So what should we do? Should we